Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're back on this 02 F350 and the saga of getting the four-wheel drive system back up to bar. So in this video we'll replace the hubs. So I was going back with just some stock ones for now. Picked them off of Amazon. There's your part number, made in China. So the reason I'm replacing these is because these are the vacuum modulated hubs, but they also have where you can turn and lock them. Except for these won't budge hardly. So I'm not even gonna deal with that. The replacement's pretty simple. You see there's this O-ring, or snap ring, sorry, that is in the hub, should be sticking out. You can grab it with just a pair of pliers. You can see it popped out, but sorry for the shaky camera, I'm one handing it. There you go. So just like that, that one's out. Now this should shake out, but I would say these will need a little motivation. Yep, so let me get two hands on it and just peck around and get it knocked out. All right, guys, a little update. So as I was tapping around on it, just the housing blew apart. So it cracked all to pieces, as you can see. This inside gear was actually frozen into this gear, and then this inner gear, which is the inside of your hub right here, it's actually frozen into the actual axle. So yeah, got a hell of a mess right here to get this thing out. It ain't one to come at all. So my next thought is maybe have to split it. Maybe make a cut through here and give it some leverage to collapse in on itself. I may have to cut this out piece by piece just so I can get down to this last gear and heat it and get it off this shaft. But I'm gonna spray it with some stuff, keep pecking around on it, and see what I can do. All right, guys, I got it out. Look at this shit. So you want to know why it wasn't coming out? Is someone before me glued these things in. You can see that coming out. Look at this shit. Someone literally glued the hub in. I'm going to assume it was leaking, and they thought it was a good idea to put silicone or epoxy or whatever they did. Man, they sure got this thing all kinds of jacked up. So, obviously, you've seen I've used every tool I had, but what I ended up having to do was take the saw and actually cut down through it and break pieces out. So I'll show you the process on the other side, because I'll be able to do it a lot quicker. But I got to take a wire brush here and do a hell of a lot of cleaning. All right, guys, so there she is, all cleaned up, looking good. I got all that RTV or silicone or epoxy, whatever they used, and got it all in there and cleaned up. So it's looking real good now. So what I'll do now is I got some high temp, it's a wheel bearing grease. I'm just gonna grease all those splines and grease onto this axle shaft, so everything stays in there real fluid. I'll put a skim around this when I put it in there, so everything should be good and covered. Now I suggest that at least once a year you pop these out and just clean and grease, because as you can see, other than gluing it in, it was still pretty crusty. So this surface right here, you want to make sure it's free of debris and free of any nicks or sharp jabs, because that is where your new O-ring, you can see it there, is going to sit. So I'm going to go ahead and grease this down and put that in. All right, guys, I was just going to stop and show you how I grease mine up. You can see, other than I got some grass in it, but I grease it up all the way around, make sure all the splines get good and covered. And then other than that, now this guy should, you just line it up and get it in there with one hand. it goes in snug. So there it's lined up. Maybe. Here we go. And then you can just work it back in. You'll hear the air coming out of it. So now you get to this part, and it's gonna work in there tight. So I'm gonna get 2 hands on it, get it worked in, then we'll put the clip on. All right guys, so we got it back down in there so we can slide this new ring over it like so. And it's got a green tab right there. It's holding it together. I'm just gonna let it go. I probably have to get 2 hands on it, to be honest with you. Yeah, so well, I'd squeeze that thing back together and get it down in there, and I'll show you what it looks like fully seated. All right guys, so there it is. It's fully seated in. You see I nicked it a little bit because I had to tap around the ring to get it to go fully seated down in there. But just for reassurance, you give it a light tap with the dead blow ram. Make sure that clip's fully seated, and then that's it. It should, you can see how easy it turns from lock to auto now. So I'll show you the complete teardown of how you get a glued stuck hub in, the time lapse of it on the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it is off. Look at it down there smoking. So there you seen. Again, I cut it out into pieces, chiseled me out sections. This piece was super froze onto the hub, so as a matter of heating and a little bit of cutting, I cut a relief cut in it right there, and was finally able to get it worked off. So now it's just a matter of doing a ton of cleaning and trying to get all that old RTV out of there. So there's the finished product. It's all in, everything's cleaned up, everything works fine. That's lock, auto. So that went together. You've seen how much trouble I had, how much cleaning had to go. So if yours is ever leaking, don't half-ass it and try to use RTV to seal it up. I mean, come on, let's be better than that. But I got the O-ring in. You see I used the screwdriver, just go around, tapped it to make sure it's seated all the way in, because with all that grease on it, it can kind of give it a little bit of an airlock and not let it sit all the way. But you can see that ring is seated all the way back in. That's everything for this video. That's how you typically wouldn't have to replace hubs that way. They should just work there. You can work them and get them pulled out, but someone glued these in. So if you guys have any comments, questions, drop them below. I always try to get to them as fast as I can. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this thing going, keep it building. And I'll get this out and test it once I get this bed back together. So building a custom bed on it, make sure you check that out too. But until next time, let's keep building.